Okie dokie, let's get this show on the road. I'm Codex the Art Assassin. What is an Art Assassin? Why does it sound made up? And the answer is because it is. Yes, I did it again, twice. Because you guys probably missed me hearing me say it. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Alright, and today I'm a lot less tired. So, let's get this on the road. So, for those who watched the last episode, I only sketched him with a blue pencil, and then I used a darker lead pencil, your typical kind, HB. Now I am inking him in with 3 fine liners. One is going to be a 0.8, one's going to be a 0.4, and one's going to be, the last one is a 0.2. And then I'll be using my Ohuhu alcohol markers. I think they're the Honolulu brand. I don't remember. Regardless, coloring him in was kind of easy, but the problem was, which you guys won't know until you get to the end of the video, because the video looks practically done. But the reason why it was in such a bad angle was I was going to prepare to fix it up once I completely finished the drawing. Well, I decided, you know what, I need to add a little more shadow. Messed up. I'm like, oh, maybe I can fix it up a little bit. I kept going and going and going, and the drawing looked horrendous. So I had to cut it to when the drawing should have been finished, instead of me adding extra changes. So, a small lesson to artists who are trying to draw certain characters for the first time, or haven't completely mastered shading, less is more. And what I mean by that is, we may want to add so many fancy and amazing details, but if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, it's only going to get worse. And when you don't know what you're doing, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. And for those who do not understand that saying, because apparently a lot of things go over a lot of people's heads nowadays, a mountain out of a molehill is very small, right? People find moles very bothersome because they dig through a lot of things. They can even destroy your plants depending on where they dig. But if you make it such a big deal, if you're exaggerating the issue, like it's a gigantic mountain, when in reality it's just a molehill. Hence, a mountain out of a molehill. So, I added some lighting on his shoulder, which I'm kind of proud of. I actually enjoyed that a little bit. And then I kept the same marker and used it. It was a more of a bluish gray, because a little tip, when you're drawing in certain characters and they have black clothing or anything that resembles something black, what you want to do is, instead of going straight with the jet black color, you want to use colors like very dark blues, grays, anything possible besides black. Like if you're going to make it like very harsh shading and harsh shadows, definitely go with black. But since I didn't want it to be too harsh, I used black and a very, very, very dark blue, like a blackish blue. And then when you're leaving white on specific spots of a character, sometimes it's better to add like a very light gray instead of typical white, or just leaving it blank. Unless if you know specifically what you're doing for lighting. Like for instance, if I did better shading for Baki's face, I could have left certain spots and areas on his cheek completely white and colored around it, which would have given sheen to his face. As you can see, I added a small line underneath where his chest muscles would be. And then once I added the light gray marker, I was able to blend it in, and I took another gray marker that's a little bit darker than the one I placed underneath it. No, a little bit lighter than the one I placed underneath his chest. And then I rubbed it right across, which gave it a nice blending effect. For those who are blending with markers, for instance, Ohuhu markers are very good with blending. You can do the typical way, which is lay all the flat colors and add shading. Or if you want to get a little bit ambitious, which I'm more intermediate in this, which is while the colors are still wet, especially when it comes to flat colors, I like to take a semi-dark color or somewhere in the middle of the dark color I wanted and quickly go over the area that requires shading. So that way, the color blends very well with the color initially laid beforehand. So for instance, I'm trying to move quickly across Baki's pectoral muscles with the marker so that way the color blends. Now originally I was going to leave that very light skin tone I left for him because he's actually like very tan in later in the series. Or if we're talking about I think they kind of redid the animation for one of the Baki the Grappler series. I don't remember exactly, but I was going to leave certain areas white, and then I realized that if I go over it again once it dries, it's going to give a different look. And that's what I did. And then, if I'm correct, I took a blender, which is a certain marker you will get with the um, certain packs you get, and I went over his muscles again to make it look lighter, while leaving a little bit of shadow. As a tip, when you're using paper, it's better to use like thick board kind of paper because it works a lot better than thin paper. Because the paper I'm currently using is kind of thin. I had to use this piece of paper I taped together for the back of it, and this plastic object that the Yohuhu markers come with that you saw me pull out to readjust because it's such a massive piece of paper that I have on an incline. Regardless, it came out very well. I wish I didn't mess with it because then it would have been like very nice to keep in my book. But I got so frustrated with it, I ripped it out and then crumbled it and threw it out. Not exactly a good habit because sometimes it's good to keep the bad art you have so you can learn how to fix it and what to do better next time. Alright, so let me wrap this up as I am finishing up with Baki's hair. I'm Codex the Art Assassin. Please like and subscribe and share to your friends. And if you didn't like this video, share it to somebody you didn't like so they can like it in turn. Anyway, I personally hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm actually very happy with how this drawing turned out, or I'm happy with how it turned out before I messed it up. And yeah, like I said, less is more. If you guys want more tips and tricks, please give me a comment. If I don't know certain subject matter, I will send you guys to a particular YouTuber. Have a great day, guys.